Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody's out there watching. Welcome to another episode of This Week Unloaded. I am your host, Rich White, and with me tonight is Mr. Gizzard Gary. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yep. So, how's your day been?
Well, let's see. I was on Foss's show for 2 hours this morning. Then he started having laptop issues where it kept rebooting every 5 or 10 minutes. And finally, he gave up and quit. So,
Yeah, I saw something about that in the group text. It was like, wow.
other than that, that's been about it. Been taking it easy.
Goes the ambulance. I don't know if you heard it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Somebody was just sending fireworks. I wonder if that's why.
Could be.
So, I guess we should start with the big news today. Uh, Senator Lindsey Graham passed away unexpectedly at the age of 71.
Yeah, I saw that late last night when the news broke. I was still awake, believe it or not. And at first, I thought, is that the wrong name? That's not the one who died, is it? And it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
another one. Okay.
yeah, he is definitely not the one people were expecting to die. Everybody's expecting to get a notification that Mitch McConnell has passed away. Instead, we get notice that Lindsey Graham died. That was kind of a shock.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, apparently he had some unknown, unstated illness that proved to be fatal. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Lindsey Graham, but he had some points that he made that weren't completely wrong. So he was right on some things, but a lot of things he was absolutely wrong on. And South Carolina is already taking steps to replace him. There's an article on Fox News about that earlier. Guess we can look at that since I already got it pulled up. Just got to share it. Let me find it here in my share window here. Okay, where did it put it? There it is. Then come back over here. Add that to the screen. So anybody who is watching can read along, and then I can move us over to the side so we're not blocking the view. So again, this is from Fox News, from Alex Miller and Paul Steinhauser. Graham's death ignites GOP scrambles for Senate seat as Trump hints he already has a favorite. Governor Henry McMaster will name a temporary replacement while the special election GOP nomination filing opens July 21st. Senator Lindsey Graham's, Republican South Carolina, sudden death for an undisclosed illness has triggered a two-pronged approach to replace him, and President Donald Trump will likely be a focal point in the process. Graham's passing overnight comes at a time when Republicans in the upper chamber need every vote they can get. The Senate GOP now holds a 52-seat majority, and with the timetable for Senator Mitch McConnell, Republican Kentucky absence still unclear, that majority is now effectively 51 votes. And as we aforementioned, if Mitch McConnell does end up passing away as well, it's going to be 50-50 with Vance having the deciding vote. If that's not what they're already taking into consideration.
That's true.
That will, upped the pressure and drama to find a replacement for the longtime South Carolina lawmaker. Trump, during an appearance on NBC's Meet the Press on Sunday, said, "I have somebody that I think would be great. But I don't want to say it now because it's too soon with Lindsey," Trump said. "I don't want to even talk about anybody, but I do have somebody that I think is really good. It's a process guided by the Constitution and state law. The first step will require South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster, a Republican, to appoint a replacement for Graham on a temporary basis. McMaster, a close ally of Trump, can appoint a temporary replacement as soon as he wants. That pick will serve until the next special or general election." Fox News Digital did not immediately hear back from McMaster's office on when he would make the announcement or who he was considering for the seat. Rightfully so. I mean, it's not even been 24 hours. Give the body time to cool, guys. Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
Graham was already in cycle running for a fifth term in the upper chamber, and he easily cruised to a primary victory early last month. That means that whoever McMaster taps would serve until the end of the year to finish off the remainder of Graham's fourth term. The second prong is finding his long term successor. The candidate filing period for that special election to win the GOP nomination opens on the 21st. The election is slated for August 11th, according to South Carolina law. That race could see several familiar faces in South Carolina GOP politics jumping in, including McMaster himself, who is termed out as governor.
Ooh.
Trump heaped praise. It's not before we go on. It's not uncommon for a governor to appoint himself to that seat. It happened here with Manchin. He was governor, and when Byrd died, he appointed him to his seat. He appointed himself to his seat. So that would not be unheard of for a governor to do, especially if they're at the end of their term as governor and they can't run again. Trump heaped praise on McMaster, noting that he endorsed his first bid for the White House in 2016. "Henry's been a great governor. You know, now he's termed out, but he's going to do the right thing," Trump said. "I think Henry will be fantastic." There are 6 members of South Carolina's GOP congressional delegation who could toss their hats into the mix. Rep. Nancy Mace, Republican South Carolina, who recently lost a bid for the GOP gubernatorial nomination, is eyeing jumping into the special election. The person familiar with Mace's plans told Fox News Digital Congresswoman Mace is considering a bid to run. And Rep. Ralph Norman, Republican South Carolina, who, like Mace, ran and failed to clinch the GOP nomination for governor in South Carolina, is eyeing a bid too. A source familiar confirmed to Fox News Digital that Norman is seriously considering a run for the Senate. Source also said that Norman will make an announcement on Tuesday about running. Then there's Rep. Joe Wilson, the longest serving Republican member of the Palmetto State's delegation. He quickly snuffed speculation about whether he'd leap into the fray. "I was grateful to speak with President Trump today, reminiscing about our mutual friend, Senator Lindsey Graham," Wilson said on X. "I assured him my goal is to remain in the House to keep his 2-vote majority for the American people." Then there's the remaining 3 South Carolina Republican reps, Russell Fry, William Timmons, and Sherry Biggs, none of whom so far have signaled that they would jump into the battle for Graham's seat. Meanwhile, South Carolina Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette would also be in the mix. A source familiar told Fox News Digital that Yvette is receiving tons of encouragement from all across the state and from around the country to serve as the temporary caretaker for Graham's seat. The source said that Yvette is also being encouraged to run to seek a full 6-year term in the Senate. Yvette, a top South Carolina ally of Trump's and McMaster's, was endorsed by both as she finished first in South Carolina's Republican gubernatorial primary in this year's race to succeed McMaster. But after Trump also endorsed her GOP rival in the runoff, State Attorney General Alan Wilson, she was trounced by Wilson a few weeks ago in the runoff election. Fox News Digital did not immediately receive response to requests for comment from possible contenders in the House. So what do you think of that? too soon to be contemplating this, or because of the July 21st election, are we going to see more of this in the next 24 hours? Do you think?
Well, it sounds like there's so many variables going on here. I mean, if the governor appoints himself, then somebody else has to be governor. If on the other hand a state represent or a representative takes that, then you've got another open position there. So yeah, it's kind of like a domino
Mhm.
effect,
Yeah,
depending on how it plays out. And I'm not sure it's cut and dried at this point. Doesn't sound like it, but I'm not well versed on South Carolina politics. So I could be wrong.
the best outcome as far as election is concerned is right now would be to have the governor appoint himself, because then the lieutenant governor will step up and there really wouldn't be a vacancy to worry about.
True.
Pack Rat's addicts out there, evening, sir. He says the other big question is who is going to replace him in the Senate Finance Committee? That's up to the chairman. Was he the chairman of the committee or was he just a member? I don't recall. But if he wasn't the chairman, it's up to the chairman and the Senate Majority Leader.
No, Mike Crapo
Okay.
is the chairman.
He was also a ranking member, if not a chairman of another committee too. Though, was it the Intelligence Committee or something along that? Wasn't he a big member of that one?
Oh,
I'm trying to remember. I thought he was a chairman of one of these committees.
he is not a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee now. Um, let's see, Appropriations Committee. He is the chairman of the Budget Committee,
Okay, I knew he was a chairman of one of them.
also on the Judiciary Committee and Environment and Public Works.
He was also an Air Force veteran. He served from 1982 to 1989 as a member of the Judge Advocate General's Corps, as a defense attorney, and as the Air Force Chief Prosecutor in Europe. He also served in South Carolina Air National Guard and the Air Force Reserve, retiring as a colonel in 2015. He received the Bronze Star in 2014 for his legal work related to military operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. Wow. Yeah. Does that make Lindsey Graham a war hero, winning the Bronze Star?
Um,
It's not an easy medal to win, to be awarded with.
Somewhat.
Yeah, there's going to be big shoes to fill in the Senate. Are they still on recess or are they back in session?
Whoa.
That's a little close for comfort.
Let's see. Are you under fire?
No idiots out there setting off fireworks.
Uh,
Yeah, they're still in recess and they're not scheduled to reconvene until tomorrow.
yeah. I just looked at a calendar.
Yeah, I just looked it up. So. But yeah, they don't reconvene until tomorrow at 3 p.m. That's a weird time.
So, according to what I've read, the Bronze Star Medal does not necessarily make you a war hero. It can be awarded for two different reasons: heroism or meritorious service. Only the medal awarded for heroism under fire typically signifies a war hero.
Okay. But still, it's not a medal you want to sneeze at. It's they don't give them out like candy, folks.
So, how you would tell if you look at the medal itself, it will have a V on it for valor.
Right. Gee, X isn't wanting to load. Check and see if we get anybody watching on X, and it's not loading.
Let me look on X and see if mine will load.
Oh, I got it. 16 people watching. So hello out there in X land. And it says we got 1 on Rumble, 4 on YouTube. It says so. But yeah, that's what's going on with Graham. It said it caught everybody by surprise, and those people setting off those fireworks are not very far from my front porch.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
What the fuck? Ouch! No, they're right over by the freaking church. You'd probably see them if I turn my camera on. Um, Let me take this off the screen. Yeah, see, you can see it through the reflection of my monitor, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're entirely too goddamn close. They were told not to be setting them off on the main street. Police said you can set them off, but do not set them off on the main street. And that's exactly what they're doing. No wonder it sounded so damn close. If it keeps up, Amy will call the cops because she's got to get up. She's up in bed for work tomorrow. Packrat said, You rarely heard anything about his military service." No, he did not brag about it like some other politicians would. He was very tight-lipped about it. Excuse me. So, any other thoughts on Lindsey Graham before we move on to the next?
Well, depending on the news this next week, it may be duplicated. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah. Talking about Mitch McConnell, there's been
I am.
mixed reports about him all week, whether he's cognizant, whether he's brain dead, whether he's in the hospital, out of the hospital, in hospice, not in hospice. I mean, there's been nothing but speculation. Apparently, nobody's seen him for a month or something. I mean, that's why it's, at the beginning it wasn't Lindsey Graham people were expecting to hear news had passed away this past week, into this weekend. It was Mitch McConnell that people were expecting to hear. And the thing with him, if he passes, they in Kentucky currently have a Democrat governor. So that could make this even more interesting if for some reason he should be determined not fit to stay in office, decides to resign due to his health, or passes away. That will cinch for at least until November that it's not going to be the Republican majority anymore. And I guarantee you, right now, good old Chucky Schumer is chomping at the bit.
I imagine.
Yeah, this could get very interesting very quickly. Moving on to the next story. Did you hear about what happened up there in New York City with Mamdani this week?
No.
Well, news got to the State Department that one of his aides was going to be meeting with the ambassador from Iran. And the State Department quickly stepped in and said, you ain't doing that. That would be a
Wow.
clear breach of New York City's authority. And Mamdani's trying to say, I knew nothing about it. And got a story about that to pull up too here.
Of course.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This one comes from the New York Post, their New York edition. Apparently, they have a California and a New York edition. Uh, yeah. Mamdani tries to downplay top officials' attempted meeting with the Iran ambassador as GOP polls demand answers by Craig McCarthy and Matt Troutman. This was from July 10th. So, where are we? I ran out of patience. They open up with a dad joke. A defensive mayor, Zoran Mamdani, tried to downplay his international affairs commissioner's boneheaded attempt meeting with the anti-U.S. Iranian ambassador as he faced heat from aghast GOP lawmakers on Friday. Mamdani said he never knew about Commissioner Anna Maria Archila's scheduled and thwarted confab this week with Amir Saeed Iravani, Iran's permanent representative to the United Nations, until he received a press inquiry about it. Show of hands, does anybody believe him?
Nope.
Nope. No, I don't see any. He repeatedly stressed this down never took place. Well, yeah, because the State Department stopped it and chalked it up to a scheduling snafu. The commissioner recognizes that this was made in error, and we're working on a new process in terms of new meeting requests, he told reporters at an unrelated event. Again, this was a request that came into the office, not one that originated from the office. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
A highly unusual would be meeting between a Big Apple official and top diplomat from Iran, a nation hostile to the U.S. even before the current war, caused President Trump's State Department officials to intervene. The city office already has multiple layers of checks and balances in place to avoid such a glaring gaffe, so it appears Archila would have sidestepped proper protocols to set the meeting, according to insiders. Uh-huh. But it also wasn't the first time Mamdani or someone in his administration tried to meet with a controversial foreign official. The mayor himself planned a face to face with Colombia's outgoing leftist president, Gustavo Petro, actually, a June meeting that was also kiboshed by the Trump administration. After Archia's Iranian misadventure was exposed Thursday, Republican city council members sent her a scathing letter demanding answers over the meeting and the International Affairs Office's seeming drift into foreign diplomacy, which, by the way, is unconstitutional. The lawmakers' Friday letter accused the International Affairs Commissioner of using her post to advance a worldwide socialist agenda and prioritizing relationships with like-minded foreign governments. It is dubious at best for a city office that has absolutely no authority to discuss or shape U.S. foreign policy to engage in such a role, the letter said. However, for it to conspire to meet with the representatives of a dangerous authoritarian fascist regime that is the worldwide leader of state-sponsored terrorism that has vowed death to America repeatedly, I might add, and is currently engaged in a lethal military conflict with our country is an astounding breach of protocol and public trust and could be construed as subversive act. The Mayor's International Affairs Office traditionally acted akin to a concierge service for the scores of diplomats in New York City, helping them get their children into schools, fulfill permits, and other similar hosting tasks. Such offerings, however, came with limits. Sources familiar with the office noted any presidential administration would rightly get anxious if city officials met with diplomats or leaders from nations with which the U.S. has a fraught relationship. In the past, officials with the International Affairs Office would try to address such foreign dignitaries' issues without a sit down in order to avoid inadvertently stepping into sensitive diplomatic situation, the source said. Iranian officials in the UN reached out to set the ultimately scuttled meeting, which would have taken place in two United Nations Plaza and not the other way around, according to the sources. So, what do you think about that one? An overreach by the local city government?
Obviously, but they don't seem to care about rules.
It's also, I believe, a violation of the Article 10 of the United States Constitution. And is it Article 1 or Article 2 that's the executive branch? Damn it, I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Anyway, it's a violation of that as well, which leaves foreign diplomacy in the hands of the executive branch. So, yeah, it's not a good thing for a mayor's office to or a employee within said office to be trying to set up a meeting whether they initiated it or not, with a foreign diplomat from a country that we are currently at war with.
Guns and barbecues out there.
Uh-huh. It, it's not good. It's not good. And the State Department was well within their rights to step in and say, no, you can't do this. And of course, it has people on X calling for Mamdani's removal from office. Again, and keep in mind, Mamdani himself is a foreign national. He is not from the United States. He is from Uganda or Sudan, one of those two. I think it's Sudan. But yeah, it's one of those Eastern African countries right there around the Horn. I already knew you were here, barbecue. I saw you before Gary said anything. But yeah, I might add, Sudan is also not a country that's on good terms with the United States either, for the record. While we are not in a state of war, they have been hostile. So there is that. But at least he hasn't come out like Ilhan Omar and flat out said that he serves the people of Sudan and not the people of New York. Because remember, Ilhan Omar has famously said that she doesn't serve the people of the United States; she serves the people of Somalia, and yet still has been allowed to hold her seat in the people's house.
She should go there and live.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's the deal with Mamdani. He's trying to say, "Oh no, I had nothing to do with it, nothing at all." And if anybody is wondering, he's not out there yet, but the Christmas logo. We're celebrating Christmas in July in honor of Ron Wayne, but he's not popped up out there in the YouTube chat as yet. So, yes, for the whole month of July, in honor of Ron Wayne, that logo will be there instead of the usual channel logo. Just because he loves those Cardinals so much. And then also this week in Utah, there was a important criminal hearing going on. So I guess we could look at that too and see what's going on there. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Give me a minute here. All right, there we go. This one comes from the AP. Defense tries to sow doubt about evidence in Charlie Kirk's killing. This is by Hannah Schoenbaum and Matthew Brown. Provo, Utah. Lawyers for the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk tried to sow doubt about the case on Friday, while a prosecutor countered that authorities have overwhelming evidence, including DNA tests and apparent confessions by the defendant. I can't talk. Judge Tony Graff said he would decide if the case against Tyler Robinson should advance to trial after hearing again from the two sides on September 1st. Kirk, a 31-year-old confidant of President Donald Trump, was killed as he spoke to a crowd of thousands at Utah Valley University on September 10th. That'll be September 10th of 2025. Robinson is charged with aggravated murder and could face the death penalty. Friday's proceedings capped the week of preliminary testimony and brought an emotional moment for Kirk's family. The court played surveillance video that prosecutors said showed Robinson on the rooftop where he allegedly fired a single bullet that hit Kirk in the neck. Kirk's widow, Erica, clutched a tissue and watched intently as a person said to be Robinson ran across the roof. When the figure dropped into a crawl near the roof's edge, she turned and embraced Kirk's mother, Catherine, who was crying. They held each other and kept their heads down until the video was almost over. Defense questions reliability of evidence. Prosecutors this week presented a recorded interview with Robinson's former roommate, and his gay lover, it also needs to be stated, who said the 23-year-old defendant expressed remorse for the shooting before turning himself in. Lawyers from the Utah County Attorney's Office also offered DNA analysis that investigators said linked Robinson to both the suspected murder weapon and a tool he allegedly used to etch messages into bullet cartridges. Robinson's team did not offer alternative theories for Kirk's death, but one of his attorneys, Michael Burt, repeatedly questioned the reliability of DNA tests and other evidence from prosecutors. If you had a lot of DNA on your hand and we shook hands and I went to pick up an exhibit, a gun, and touched the trigger of it, your DNA could be on that trigger, right? Oh, excuse me. Burt asked Caitlin Oliver, a forensic biologist with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, a federal law enforcement agency. It is possible, yes, Oliver replied. The defense attorney noted that government policies don't allow analysts to say that the DNA evidence is infallible or that it had a zero error rate. Experts say the science behind DNA testing is sound. Chief Deputy Utah County Attorney Chad Grunander questioned the relevance of bringing in Oliver as a witness. He suggested prosecutors met the burden of proof needed to advance the case to trial. Your Honor's heard 4 days of testimony now. The evidence is overwhelming. It's devastating, Grunander said. Robinson did not testify at the hearing. No, not shocked by that at all. One of his attorneys told a judge that they had advised him not to. He has not entered a plea. Kirk family thanks supporters. Kirk's family released a statement Friday expressing gratitude for the support and prayers they've received. We pray that the truth will continue to be heard through a process that is fair, transparent, and grounded in the facts, the statement said. The video that the prosecutor said showed Robinson running across a roof at Utah Valley University was played for the court gallery at a request of Kirk's family. Portions of the recording were zoomed in to better show the figure on the roof, and red circles were added to some images to direct the viewer's attention. An unaltered version of the video was shown earlier. Prosecutors on Thursday aired portions of April 20th interview with Robinson's roommate Lance Twiggs, who is also his reported romantic partner. The day after Kirk was shot in the neck, Robinson allegedly cried and told Twiggs he wishes he hadn't done it. A recording played in court revealed. Later that same day, and only about an hour before turning himself in, Robinson posted, "It was me at UVU University," in a chat room on the Discord instant messaging platform, according to investigators and messages shown by prosecutors. Defense attorneys unsuccessfully fought the public release of Twig's statements and the chat room messages. They argued prosecutors would characterize the material as a confession, undermining Robinson's right to a fair trial. Roommate Robinson never talked about Kirk. Prosecutors contend the shooting endangered others at Kirk's campus event, an aggravated circumstance that could make the crime punishable by death under Utah law. Robinson also faces possible sentence enhancements based on claims by prosecutors he targeted Kirk because of his political views. Twiggs said in the April interview with prosecutors and investigators that Robinson sometimes talked about politics, including Trump, but Twiggs said he never heard Robinson talk about Kirk before the shooting. The defendant also did not talk much about gender issues or LGBTQ rights, Twiggs said. The week-long preliminary hearing attracted intense media coverage and spectators who lined up, sometimes overnight, for one of 14 seats in the courtroom reserved for the public. Preliminary hearings typically don't last so long, legal experts said. The slow pace reflects a cautious approach by Graff and a large volume of evidence. Conjecture over that evidence has fueled unsubstantiated conspiracy theories that there might have been a second shooter or that Kirk's death was staged. Yeah, I've heard those conspiracy theories, idiots from idiots on X. I think that the prosecution wanted to dispel those theories by putting out into the public record the overwhelming case that it possesses against Robinson, said Paul Casella, law professor at the University of Utah and former federal judge. So, thoughts on this one?
Well, there's way too much speculation going on YouTube right now about this. You got people who don't know what the hell they're talking about, going on and on about how they know this and how they know that. And it's been going on for months now. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my favorites is bullets leave large exit wounds. Not always, especially in this case where the bullet is suspected to have bounced off the collar of his bulletproof vest before entering his neck, which would have slowed the round down considerably. Plus, the bullet also shattered and after it hit his neck. It's from one thing I saw, went into his neck, possibly hit his spine. It was already splintering from where it hit the bulletproof vest. Hit his spinal column and deflected downwards into his chest cavity, meaning there would not have been an exit wound.
Correct.
So if you're one of them people out there thinking that there's always going to be an exit wound for a shooting, there's not. I have studied forensics when I was in college, including ballistics, looking at samples of ballistics evidence. And yeah, 30-06 is a powerful rifle, but there are numerous variables that go into how a bullet, once it hits a target, be it a piece of steel hanging on a ring, a deer, or in this case, a human being, that determine how that bullet's going to act. You cannot point to any bullet and say this is what it's going to do when it hits a target. You just can't do that. Again, there's too many variables that can come into play. The powder charge of the bullet, the type of bullet used, where it hits the target, if it hits something else before it hits the target. All that comes into play, and it will change the trajectory and impact speed of a bullet. That's why there are experts that have to go over these things with a fine tooth comb to figure out what happened with that bullet. You can try and make an educated guess and say that a bullet will do this or that, but chances are you might end up being wrong. I've seen 30-06 hit a deer in the shoulder and pass straight through. I've also seen 30-06 hit a deer in the neck and not go and be stopped by just by the muscle tissue in a deer's neck. You cannot forecast what a bullet's going to do. Yeah, and you got Pack Rat brings up a good point that I was just about to get to. A lot of people see these gel test videos on YouTube and think that's how a bullet's going to react and perform when it hits a living creature. Those gel tests are terrible, terrible substitutes for an actual living creature. They do not.
Oh, people aren't made of gel.
No, they do not perform the same way as a human body, a deer body, a bear, or any other thing that gets hunted's body does when it gets hit by a bullet. And that bullet is not going to perform the same. You're not a bullet that might go through one or two blocks of gel could easily be stopped in the body of a deer. You can't go by what you see on YouTube. That's why you see a lot of people like the late Paul Harrell who tried to build a more human or deer synonymous target with his meat targets, where he used actual ribs and pork, uh, pork chops or pork ribs and pork roast, depending on the type of animal he was trying to simulate. Because pork actually has a very high consistency with human muscle. So you would see that in a lot of his demonstrations of defensive rounds. He would use that as a substitute for a human target because it was more accurate than just shooting into a block of gel. Now, another person who's done this kind of thing in the past is Military Arms Channel, where he knew a farmer who had hogs or pigs that had died, and he used them to better get an idea how different rounds would perform for hunting deer and whatnot. So, you know, Packrat said another test that's better is wet newspaper. Yeah, I've seen that too. I've seen people where they'll take stacks of wet newspaper and shoot. They'll put they'll stack the newspapers vertically and shoot through the newspaper to see how many layers of wet newspaper it'll penetrate. I believe we've been joined by Guns and Barbecue, who is calling himself the all-knowing man, as he did out in the YouTube chat. Hello, Barbecue. You are muted, sir.
I really dislike that it automatically mutes you when you come in here.
So you are out there for the Charlie Kirk article. Article number 1, I might add. I have another article about the Charlie Kirk thing too to go over, which
Ooh.
is interesting too because it's about how a lot of the conspiracy theories were debunked during the hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just based on the article read already, what thoughts do you have on the situation?
I don't know. I find it very intriguing that they don't have the case to the round.
They do have the case for the round. It was in the rifle. They have it. They showed it during the trial. Or the hearing, I should say.
I say the one thing that I watched, they didn't have it, it said.
No, they don't have an intact bullet. They have the
Well,
shell casing.
the intact bullet makes sense, but the thing that I saw said they didn't have the shell casing, which I was like, how the hell not?
No, they do. They do. It was still in the rifle.
I swear to God, I'm living in a simulation. It's not even funny anymore. The way this shit's been happening to me.
Well, no, you probably saw one of the conspiracy theorists out there.
No. This is stuff from Court TV.
Yeah, because they showed it during the. They showed four different shell casings that were in the rifle, the fired one and three others that weren't fired. And they all had engravings on them. Packer said Officer Tatum has been covering the hearing in person. Yeah, I saw a video clip with him where he's saying that from what he saw, he thinks he's guilty as sin. And what's interesting is the reason why the judge is continuing the hearing until September is because the defense asked for extra time to file a briefing.
Well, that's not really unusual. That happens all the time.
During the hearing?
Yeah.
But they've had how many months now?
Yeah, but this is a very high profile case.
I'm well aware.
I mean, even take the high profile out of it, it's a capital murder case where.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what possibly they could present in a briefing that they couldn't have presented during the hearing itself.
Hey, we had some guys in black suits show up and tell us like this is what we're going to do or else we're going to off you. So judge, if we could be removed from this case and find him a new lawyer. I don't know.
Look, Your Honor, we don't want to defend this guy anymore. Yeah. I mean, the defense rested their case, which is why, or asked for a continuance.
I mean, it could have been based on something that prosecution had presented or did that they weren't prepared for. I don't know. And in this sense, I mean, heck, this is a year removed. How
Almost,
often do we see cases go into trial within a year? I mean, this is getting fast tracked, which is interesting in itself.
The governor said it would. If you remember when it happened, the governor said we're going to fast track this and we're going for the death penalty. So.
Well, that's one of my issues here is why. Like I realize what the case is and how high profile it is, et cetera, but why does this get any special treatment in the justice system?
If you remember
and
back,
really,
the OJ case was fast tracked. That was not that long between the murders and the verdict. I mean, usually you can have up to 2 years before you get between the crime and the verdict.
It's supposed to be 2 years. I mean, heck, a lot of times now we're seeing upwards 3. I've heard of an instance where there was one that almost took 4 years, I think, out of Chicago, which I'm like, that's absurd. The idea that we could just have somebody locked up for almost 4 years and they're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but we're gonna you're supposed to have the right to a speedy trial. 4 years is not speedy. 3 years isn't speedy. Dare I say 2 years is not speedy, but that seems to be the norm.
Yeah, back in the day, the standard was 180 days.
Yeah. But with that, I do believe that this is definitely one where it would be advisable for them to take their sweet time with it and make sure all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. Because at the end of the day, I mean, one, you want justice. Two, you're talking about sentencing somebody to death, possibly, and that should not be taken lightly. And just because the governor's like, "Oh, we're going to fast track this," I think there's an issue there. That sounds like you're out for blood, you're out for vengeance, which it's understandable, but feelings like that have no place in the justice system.
There have been reports that the judge has been handling this case with kid gloves the whole time too. He's being very cautious from what some experts who are in the courtroom have said.
It's good. I like that.
Yeah, that's the first article on the Tyler Robinson / Charlie Kirk hearing.
All right, let's get into this conspiracy stuff. That's the good stuff. Let's go. Chop, chop.
Hold on, I'm getting to it.
Son of a. So slow. Gary, yell at him.
Yeah.
No, the problem is I got to find where this stupid thing put the damn article. I know where it is in my damn.
The stupid thing did it? I see.
Yeah.
You should start running Linux for your computer. It would work a lot better.
It's not Linux or Windows fault. There it is. All right. Back over here. Add that. Oh, goody, now my internet's going to act stupid.
First false, now it's rich. I tell
Yep.
you.
It's not wanting to load it.
Well, this is unloaded media. You can't expect the media to load.
Mm-hmm. Let's try this again. There we go.
Lame.
That time I clicked on it. I thought, well, I'll see what happens if I click on it. So.
Okay. So, this one's from Fox News. Tyler Robinson hearing ends without ruling as evidence dismantles Charlie Kirk conspiracy claims. Lance Twiggs, Robinson's former roommate, gave recorded interviews as Discord logs showed apparent admissions. Provo, Utah. Tyler Robinson's preliminary hearing in the assassination of Charlie Kirk came to a close without a decision from Judge Tony Graff Jr. on Friday, but the week-long proceeding introduced a wide swath of evidence in the case to the public. Robinson, 23, is accused of shooting Kirk, 31, from a rooftop sniper's perch during a Turning Point USA event at Utah Valley University on September 10, 2025. Graff agreed to a defense request to allow lawyers to file briefs before he decides whether Robinson's case should go to trial, a move that adds about 6 weeks to the process. Quiet, cat. Next hearing on September 1st is scheduled to be held just days before the first full year since Kirk's assassination. Amid the lengthy process, enormous public interest in the case, and closed-door hearings and court filings, a series of conspiracy theories about what happened last year in Orem have emerged. Many of them were debunked by evidence introduced in court over the last week. The claims. Kirk's cause and manner of death. Although Robinson's defense team objected to showing his autopsy report in court, testimony from Utah State Bureau of Investigation agent David Hall listed his death as a homicide caused by a gunshot wound to the neck. The testimony included no indication that the forensic pathologist who handled the autopsy found anything inconsistent with that conclusion, ruling out theories involving an exploding microphone. Yes, apparently there are some people out there who think Charlie Kirk's microphone exploded, and that's what actually killed him. While there has been some speculation about the lack of visible exit wound in graphic video of Kirk's murder, the doctor who performed the autopsy was still confident it was a gunshot that killed Kirk, and I already just went over why there wouldn't potentially be an exit wound.
Well, going back to the exploding microphone thing real quick, like I find it laughable. Like, this is one of those things where people need to use their head a little bit. They're like, yeah, the microphone exploded and it left this big crater in the cement. That's why the next day the crew was there re-cementing the place. Like, if the microphone had so much power that it would crater the cement, and where was the microphone located? Right in front of him? Wouldn't that do more than just, blow up a small hole in his neck? Like, that would have devastated the entire front of him.
Yeah, and what was that microphone made out of? TNT? Jesus. Microphones don't explode with that much force, folks. In fact, I've never seen a microphone explode, period. Just
I'm talking into a microphone right now, so let's not jinx it.
Yeah, I am too. And by the way, that
to be fair, Rich did have explosions going on at his house earlier.
Oh, you finally knocked out Amy, huh? Good for you.
No,
laying the pipe. All right,
idiots.
Stud.
Idiots were setting off fireworks right in front of my house earlier on the main street, which they were told by law enforcement not to do.
So you hate America?
Well, when they're doing it right next to Amy's vehicle, I tend not to be very happy about it.
What's more important, America or your Maverick?
Her having a way to get back and forth to work would be more important.
Yep, you hate America.
And they're a little late by a week.
Doesn't matter. It's never late for fireworks to celebrate America. I don't care if it's 250th birthday, the 50th birthday, the 37th, 267th. It doesn't matter.
I think that's probably what they were doing.
It's about America. You got to love it all the time. I bet your American flag's made in friggin' China, isn't it, Rich?
No,
I bet the government can have fireworks. Why shouldn't we?
Yeah.
I bet they can shoot them off anytime they want to.
They took their fireworks.
Anyway, yeah, microphones do not explode, and the work that they were doing had already been started before Charlie Kirk was even set foot on campus. That the ground where they were putting in the new concrete was already dug. If you look at the video where in front of Charlie Kirk, basically that was AstroTurf that he was standing on, that they had laid down for the event because they had already dug up where the concrete was going to go. There's another conspiracy that gets debunked there too. I think that was Officer Tatum that actually brought up that in a video, if I remember correctly. So, anyway, James Gagliano, a retired FBI supervisory special agent and Fox News contributor, said that over his 25-year career, he's seen 22 caliber rounds go all the way through a human body, and much larger 45 caliber rounds hit a bone, muscle, or even soft tissue and stop. Suppositions like this highlight a complete ignorance of ballistics and are typically spouted by those who have never stood alongside a medical examiner conducting homicide victim autopsies. Gagliano said, "It's to be expected that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms' inconclusive determination in attempts to match bullet fragments from Kirk's body with the murder weapon could cause conspiratorial conjecture." And that's probably what's causing a lot of this. The forensic pathologist recovered bullet fragments from Kirk's body, which were sent to the ATF for testing. Although tool marks on the fragments themselves were inconclusive, the caliber was consistent with a spent cartridge casing found in the suspected murder weapon, which authorities allege had Robinson's DNA on it. On the other hand, the defense may have fanned some flames by playing up the evidence of other unrelated weapons recovered at the scene. The defense noted that investigators found an empty pistol holster just steps from where Kirk was killed, as well as an unfired 223 round on the roof of another building. Robinson is shorter than the suspect seen on UBU surveillance video. This is the next conspiracy. According to this theory, the suspect is several inches taller than Robinson, who is listed as standing 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing around 150 pounds, according to the Utah County Sheriff's Office. And interestingly, in one of her videos on the subject, Candace Owens actually cut the top of a picture which cut the top of Tyler Robinson's head off to make him look shorter for her one conspiracy. The video isn't the only evidence that prosecutors say places Robinson at UVU, however. They have surveillance video of a Dodge Challenger coming and going. He allegedly encountered a Spanish Fork police officer who ran his license plates, and his DNA was allegedly recovered from a screwdriver found near the sniper's perch on the suspected murder weapon, hidden in a wooden area just steps away from campus. Taylor Hanson, an independent journalist, attempted to recreate the suspect's route across campus to test and debunk this theory with a video of his own. I went down there and decided to capture as close to the same angles as I could, compare myself, because I'm 6 feet tall, and the new conspiracy is that the real shooter, what they're claiming, is anywhere between 6'2" to 6'3", he told Fox News Digital on Friday. Although he didn't have access to the campus surveillance footage, he said he did his best to place his camera at the same angle and height as the school's cameras. Then he retraced Robinson's steps and compared their heights. I was slightly taller, just in the ever slight amount, he said. And that's enough right there. I mean, it's enough to say, okay, guys, let's move on to the next one. Basically, he said, yeah, you guys are full of it. Next conspiracy. Robinson wasn't even on campus. This is one that Candace Owens loves to spout. Again, investigators allege they can place Robinson on campus multiple times the day of the murder with video, physical, and digital evidence. They say he arrived in the morning, entered the campus, left, and came back later with different clothes on, following virtually the same path. And they showed a compilation video taken by UVU surveillance cameras showing all of that. Additionally, Robinson allegedly made contact with some Turning Point USA representatives on campus. In addition to the evidence mentioned above, police also obtained a Celebrite extraction from Robinson's phone, according to testimony throughout the week. Such extractions include information about calls, text, app usage and location, and phone tower data. Robinson's defense attorneys have not introduced any phone data that could place him somewhere else at the time of the murder, which is another conspiracy that people have tried saying. Oh, the maroon shirts conspiracy. Yes, another good one. Another conspiracy theory promoted on social media claims that there are many young men who decided to wear maroon shirts and light shorts on the day Charlie Kirk was killed, stating without a clear image they certainly cannot declare it as Tyler Robinson. What these theories don't tell you is that I believe maroon is one of the school's colors. A compilation video played in court shows a suspect in two different outfits, one of which included a maroon t-shirt. In the other, he wore a black long-sleeve shirt. Prosecutors have alleged Robinson appears to be both of them. And they also have a video of the suspect getting out of a gray Dodge Challenger in the school's parking garage, the same kind of vehicle Robinson drove. And that's the exact vehicle right there. In addition to the suspect wearing a maroon t-shirt UVU, Robinson was also wearing a maroon t-shirt when he surrendered to authorities, video shows. All right. Next one claims that Lance Twiggs was never interviewed. Lance Twiggs, Robinson's former roommate and lover, set for multiple interviews with authorities, including one that the prosecution attempted to play video of in court. After some objections from the defense, a redacted version was shown. It was between Twiggs and Deputy Utah County Attorney Ryan McBride, one of the prosecutors on the case. Additional investigators were present but not shown on camera, including Agent Brian Davis of Utah SBI, State Bureau of Investigation, so anybody's wondering. The highly anticipated video was a huge part of the hearing this week. Next one, foreign government involvement. Yeah, we got people claiming simultaneously that it was the Israelis and the Egyptians that had him killed.
Israelis.
The defense tried hard not to allow the public to hear testimony from Twiggs or see text messages, Discord chat logs, or the handwritten note Robinson left for Twiggs, all three of which include what appeared to be admissions of guilt. Graff allowed that evidence, however, and the defense showed nothing to indicate there was a foreign conspiracy involved in Kirk's murder. And that's that. So, thoughts on this one? We'll start with you, Barbecue, since you came in late.
It was Israel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Had to be Israel. Couldn't be anybody else. No.
Yep. I mean, what can we say? The Jews like to make martyrs.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, we're joined with by Run to A Matters out there on the YouTube side and Dale Pogue. So, evening to you, sirs.
Good evening.
Says we have 2 people watching on Rumble. So it doesn't look like anybody has said anything over there. Evening to you watching on Rumble. I wonder how many people are over on X. Still says 16. If you're still watching over on X, thank you. But, yeah. So, we got Gary, thoughts?
Nobody's mentioned Candace Owens yet. I
Rich
have
did.
a feeling she's probably involved.
Yes, Candace Owens had him killed so she could have the conspiracy theory so she can keep her channel going.
Right.
So,
there's so many theories out there. Let this thing proceed. I think they got him.
now, out of all the theories, which one do you guys think is the most preposterously stupid?
Microphone.
Microphone? Okay. What about you, Giz?
That Erica is somehow involved.
Yeah, which wasn't even brought up in this, but yeah. Yeah, I've seen numerous people in live chats try and say that Erica Kirk is not acting how a widow should act.
Well,
Exactly.
Candace Owens, for one.
No, I'm not talking about Candace Owens. I'm talking about people in YouTube chats. Just normal, run-of-the-mill people watching a YouTube video. Exactly how is a widow supposed to act? I mean, is there a set routine that a widow is supposed to engage in that I've never been made aware of? What about you guys? Have you ever seen any such thing?
I have not.
I mean, when I was taking psychology courses in college, we were told that grief affects people differently, that there is no one set parameter of how it can affect people. And also, people will react one way in public and another way privately when they are at home when nobody's looking. So, for all we know, while Erica Kirk is putting a strong face on when in public, she's broken down at home with her kids and with her mother and with her mother-in-law, etc. We don't know. The cameras are off then. You don't know how she's acting there. And when the shooting started at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, there were multiple reports that she lost it when that happened because she was there and she completely broke down.
She had a lot of acting lessons by then.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was one of the conspiracy. That was one of the things I heard somebody say as a reason for that.
Additionally, the idea that all of these conspiracy theories were disproven at this hearing. I would just like to point out that the prosecution and the government had, in coordination with Israel, of course, had a year to look at the conspiracy theories that had the most traction and be
You're
like,
forgetting
okay, how
Egypt.
can we,
It's not
make
just Israel;
these
it's
look?
Egypt. Yeah.
Yeah, but Egypt's not. We can't be serious about them. Like, come on. Like,
Hey, come on,
we
man! They
know
were
it was the
flying
government
planes
in
overhead.
Israel, and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, all these people are onto us. How do we make it look like they're batshit crazy, and that this actually happened? And we've given them a full year to cover their tracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the real conspiracy now.
You can't discount the Egyptians because they were flying planes in the area. Again, this
In
is according to
coordination with
Candace
Israel.
Owens. Yeah.
Yeah, but can we take a country seriously that everybody, when they're lost, they say they're in the middle of bumfuck Egypt? I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
how serious does that make your country? It's like this is a place where people go when they're lost. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Packed right out there saying that she will never be the same in regards to Erica Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say about that is when this is all said and done, and presumably if it comes out that Tyler Robinson is guilty and all that stuff, blah, 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 all these people who are out there on YouTube with these conspiracy theories, especially the ones saying horrible stuff about Erica Kirk, need to offer her a public apology. It's just gotten beyond, oh, let's have some fun with this theory. It's basically just horrible stuff
Yeah. I
being
wouldn't
said
be the
about this woman.
I would not be the least bit surprised if once the criminal trial is concluded, that Candace Owens gets served with a nice big civil lawsuit for defamation from Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA. Because she has badmouthed both Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA on numerous occasions. And she's already facing was it $1 billion lawsuit from the Macrons for doing the
Not
same thing
not
to,
just Candace, although she's the most high profile figure out there, probably.
yeah. But she's going to be their prime target, guarantee you.
But there are a ton of YouTube channels, including some that you and I might know. Not going to throw any names out there, but just saying.
Unloaded media.
Well, there are people on X that I unfollowed because of their saying this kind of crazy nonsense.
Because you can't handle the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a crazy situation.
It is, but bringing it back to reality for a second, part of the reason people go down these rabbit holes and look for anything to support their bias um, is because our government's done terrible, terrible things for many, many decades now. So the idea that they could have done something like this isn't really that far-fetched.
The crazy thing is they're not actually blaming our government. They're blaming foreign governments. It's like,
The thing is, I don't think you can make the argument that just because our government has done horrible things in the past means they always have and always will. Are there some missteps out there? 100%. But you can use that as like, okay, so JFK, all this is all the government, you just know. No, you don't.
Oh, there's JFK, the Tuskegee Project. There's when the CIA was dosing people with LSD. What? I mean, there's plenty of examples.
Well, I was using JFK as a more of a hoax than anything else. Nothing has ever been proven that there's any government involved in JFK's shooting. That's just a theory.
I'd be more inclined to believe it was a mob hit than I would the government hit, to be honest.
I mean, heck, take it down from a national level just to state level in New York, where they were doing experiments with twins and triplets, where they would have them adopted, but they wouldn't tell the families that, like, oh yeah, they have a twin or they have a triplet. So, and they were actually adopting the kids out to families where one was like really well to do and one might have been, just regular middle class family, or one was really well to do and one was a poverty family, etc. And the way they studied these kids over the years was they just, when the adoption happened, they would tell the parents, like, yeah, we'll just have somebody come in, check in on the kids periodically, stuff like that, which the parents are like, oh, we're getting to adopt a kid. This is great. We're just going to have this person randomly pop in, check on the kids. But that's how they were tracking them. Say, I'm trying to remember what exactly it was called. But again, the psychologist that was in charge of all this, his records are sealed until like, oh shit, is it like 2070 or something? I mean, it's a long time. Essentially all of the kids that were studied and involved in this will be dead before his records are ever released. And, or when I say records, the notes, everything else that he made. And if I remember correctly, I think they're being stored at Cornell. I could be wrong about that though, but I'm pretty sure they're being stored at Cornell University. I mean, government. There's a reason our founders put in the Second Amendment, or not necessarily in the Second Amendment, but it's to fight a tyrannical government. Like, they knew that you couldn't trust government.
At first, I thought you were going to say the psychologist who got twin orphans and raised one as a boy and one as a girl, and they both ended up committing suicide.
I didn't hear about that one. Well, so the way this was found out was there was a set of triplets, and they met in college or something like that. And either way, they figured out, like, oh, we look a lot alike, we sound alike, and they found out from their families, like, oh yeah, you were adopted. And then, like, it got national coverage, and somebody had told the other, what became to known to be a triplet, like, hey dude, you look a lot like them, you sound a lot like them too, et cetera, et cetera. And so he contacted them, and he found out he was adopted, and it turns out they were triplets. And one of them ended up offing themselves because they couldn't supposedly handle the fact that like their entire life was a lie, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's a lot that goes into it because it was a disgusting social experiment to see, nature versus nurture. And um, people say that that one offing themselves was tainted because it was obviously found out they lost the control, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah,
Yeah, there was a case in Pittsburgh before we moved down here where this guy and this girl were going to get married. And this was when PA still had where you had to get blood tests before getting married. Yeah, they were orphans and they went to get their blood test. And the results came back, and the doctor who administered the blood test suggested they get DNA testing done. They did that. They found out they were brother and sister.
ooh, that's rough.
Yeah, that was all over Pittsburgh news. This will be back before you had local 24-hour news and everything.
Well, there's one that I heard about from I think it was from Reddit where a woman had written on Reddit she had a conundrum where she had been with her longtime boyfriend and I think they were engaged or whatever, I don't remember, but for like 5 or 6 years, and they wanted to figure out more about their lineages, things like that. So they each did a 23andMe, and they found out that they were, I think, half siblings. And she's like, I don't know what to do. Like, this is my best friend. We've spent, like the last 5 or 6 years of our lives together. And she's like, it's not like we have any trouble in our relationship or anything. She's like, it's an amazing relationship. She's like, neither one of us wants kids or anything. I was like, oh God, like you're actually considering staying. Like this is, but at the same time, I mean, there was once upon a time in human history where it was commonplace for brothers and sisters just to, you know, be together. Which is part of the reason we have the laws that we do now, because that's how we know about the different birth defects and all kinds of things that can happen from something like that. But I was just like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. Like, that's awful.
Oh, that was extremely common among
Royalty.
aristocrats and royal families.
Yes.
But the reason why the doctor suggests they get the DNA test is they both had a very rare blood disorder that usually is hereditary.
That doctor knew it was up before. Oh
Mm.
God.
Well, he
I
couldn't.
don't know how
He
to tell
didn't
you
know
this,
for
but
sure, but that's why he's like, you guys might want to get a DNA test to rule this out, basically. Because it's the odds of them being in the same city and having this same genetic blood disorder were very low
so
odds of
Gary,
that.
question for you.
Hmm.
You're with somebody for a good period of time, you're engaged to be married, you guys bumped uglies plenty of times. Doctor's like, hey, you guys should get a DNA test done. You both have a rare blood disorder that is usually genetic. There's a chance you could be brother and sister. Do you cut ties right there, or do you go home and bump uglies one more time?
Well,
Well,
I
if I
think
remember,
you'd get the test, but
yeah, if I remember right, the doctor didn't necessarily think they were brother and sister. He thought they were cousins. He
which
thought the
first cousins is still
Just
Yeah,
move
he thought they
illegal
were
states.
going to be
in
first or
many
second
states.
cousins. Yeah, he
Just
thought they
move
were going to be
states.
first. Yeah, he thought they were going to be first or second cousins, but it came back that they were brother and sister. Yeah, crazy man.
Indeed, it is.
Packrat. There was that one about his cousin did a DNA test and found out she wasn't related to her family. Her mother had an affair, and the blood relative was his uncle.
I've
That
got a
happens.
I've got a half brother and half sister that didn't know they were related to me until just over a year ago. How about
Mm-hmm.
that? So I can tell that story too.
But yeah, back to the real task at hand. It was Israel in conjunction with our own government. Um, Israel was like, "Hey, we don't like this. You got to take this guy out." And then our government was like, "Better call Egypt. We can't have this looking like it was us." And we are like, "Hey, Egypt, fly some planes over here this day. Uh, why? We can't tell you why. Just do it,
Yeah.
or else we will make your life hell." And then
Well,
Egypt was like, "Okay, cool, we'll do that." And then our government did the biddings of Netanyahu because, well, so Charlie Kirk said some mean things about Netanyahu. Well, I don't blame him. Netanyahu sucks.
yeah,
And really, that's the gist of it. You're welcome, folks. I solved the problem.
yeah. The whole you're very close to what the actual conspiracy is. That Netanyahu had him killed because he decided that he wasn't going to support Israel anymore, and allegedly said some things that he never actually said. Yeah, I don't know if you knew the what the actual conspiracy was, but you were very close to what the claim is.
Well, I heard the Israel conspiracy, which I mean, in the sense that I had heard it, it made sense that Netanyahu would want to have something like that done potentially. I mean, if you believe that Netanyahu would be that bitter and vengeful over somebody's words, then yes. And I had seen clips where Charlie Kirk was like, "Yeah, I've been to Israel." And he's like, "It's beautiful," and he was accompanied around all that fun jazz. But he did say some negative about Israel as well. But again, with that, if you do you really believe that Netanyahu was like, "All right, time to kill this guy"?
I can
Like
think of a lot of other people that Netanyahu would want to kill if that were the case before Charlie Kirk.
exactly. But with that, Charlie Kirk was very critical of Netanyahu and called him out on some things. Um, but I think rightfully so. Uh, this I understand the idea that we need to be uh, allies and diplomatic with Israel, but I am not a fan of Netanyahu. I killed the chat. You're welcome.
Huh? No, I was zoning out there for a second. I
You're
haven't
like,
been feeling that great today. I was actually like a half hour, 45 minutes before the show. I was actually running a fever. I took some medicine to try and get my fever to break.
oh, Gary, can you believe this? He actually did the show still. Any other time you'd have been like, I'm not doing the show.
Well, that was the only thing that was wrong. Was I just had a fever. I didn't have like
Sand
a
in your
headache
downer.
or running to the toilet real bad or anything along those lines.
Sand in your downer. I understand.
Um, Elbow surgery.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, they're now saying Connor Griffin does have a potential torn tendon in his hand, and he may have to have surgery.
Oh no, we're fucked again.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of injury, did you see the video of Conor McGregor last night?
No.
Oh, he had one of the shortest MMA fights in history.
I heard he got his ass whooped, but
Well, the theory is that he was hurt before he ever went in the ring. Dana White knew it, but the show had to go on because they had a bunch of money riding on this. So.
Well, if that's the case, that presents a massive issue.
Well, especially since there was tons of money bet on this. Yeah.
Well, that's my point. If a fighter's allowed to fight and do so injured and that's not disclosed, like you've heard Dana White mention many times how like, oh, we called the FBI right after this fight or that fight because man, looked like the fighter just threw the fight, and there was weird betting right before he went out and blah blah blah.
Now, to be fair, the official word is he knew nothing about it. Mm-hmm.
Until somebody sues him, and they were dumb enough to send shit through email and text message, and that all comes out in discovery.
Candace Owens is behind all this. So, somehow.
It's Egypt.
Yep.
And say
and Israel.
The Irish and the Egyptians have never liked each other. I don't really.
To be fair, the Irish don't like many people.
I don't blame the Egyptians either. Like those friggin' redheaded fucks up there in Ireland, can't trust them. Always trying to steal the Egyptian souls and shit. Always trying to break into the friggin' pyramids and like steal mummy souls. Like those Irish are pricks.
Yeah, and the Irish would be training with the Libyans and the Tunisians, at their terrorist camps.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know, the IRA did have training camps in Libya and Tunisia at one point.
Well, to be fair, I have an IRA also, but it's not violent.
That kind of,
I know
not that kind. Yeah, not that kind of IRA.
Oh my god, they did it! I don't know how they did it, but they found me. I don't know how they found me, but they found me. Run for it, Marty.
It looks like the new guy on the Brewers who was like been on the team for 4 days. Their third baseman looks like he got injured today. One of the Pirates slid into him, and
good. He had it coming.
Hit him in the ankle with his shoulder. Which, to be fair, he was in the path of the runner going into third. So
that's what you get.
Yeah. Historically, were there Pirates in Pittsburgh at one time?
River Pirates, yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping they weren't butt pirates or something like that.
Yeah, River Pirates were a problem at one time.
There has not been a butt pirate in Pittsburgh since Rich White moved.
I don't know. The Pegasus is still downtown.
And Rich is very proud of that. And
no, I just know it's there, and everybody. It's the Pegasus is one of those secrets that everybody knows about. You know what I mean?
I remember hearing about it back when I was still young enough to bang chicks in college, and there's a chick that I was seeing for a few weeks, and she had a roommate that was gay, and she's like, "You should go to Pegasus with us." And I was like, "That doesn't sound like a place I would go." She's like, "Why not?" I was like, "I don't know what it is." She's like, "It's in Pittsburgh." I was like, "Yeah, that definitely doesn't sound like a place I would go." And she's like, "Why not?" I was like, "It's in Pittsburgh, and just the name of it, it doesn't sound like something that I'd be really into." She's like, "It's just a dance club." I was like, "Yeah, no, dancing. No. I'm white. I'm male. and I'm straight. I was like, that's the 3 strikes rule. I can't dance. I'm sorry.
Yeah, girls love going to that place because nobody will be hitting on them. Like, you want to go to Pegasus with us? Fuck no. Ain't getting me in that place. Best part was the one time we caught my friend's stepdad coming out of there.
That's awesome.
But in the logo for the place, it's a big red Pegasus. It looks like they stole it off of a mobile sign. Remember when Mobile had the big red Pegasus on their signs?
Makes sense. You know what would be even better is if they turned the unicorn's horn into a very phallic looking horn.
Well, it wasn't a unicorn; it was just a Pegasus. But
Pegasus
yeah,
didn't have a
it would have been
horn?
hilarious if it was a Pegasus.
No, he didn't, did he?
No. If it was a unicorn, I would, and a unicorn Pegasus, that would have been hilarious.
They should do that anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I still say if baseball was as committed to their Pride Night and everything as they are, they would pay the Tampa Bay Rays to call themselves the Tampa Bay Gays for a night. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Gary's over there right now, looking up flights to Pittsburgh, picking out his best tuxedo.
I remember when I was playing Wolfenstein Enemy Territory back in the mid 20, well, back when about 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. One of the guys that was in the clan I was in for the game was in an emo band in college. He was, and they were going on a tour of different, club tour around the country. And he's like, hey, you should come to Pittsburgh. You're from Pittsburgh. We're going to be playing at the Pegasus. I was like, dude, do you know what the Pegasus is? He's like, it's a dance club, right? He's like, dude, that's a gay club. He's like, what? He's like, it's a what?
A lot of pegging going on there. Right, dude?
After he calmed down, he's like, it kind of makes sense. Those places like emo music. The way do I talk to? I forget who he said the girl's name was that booked their shows. She was a member of the band. She did the show bookings and everything.
You shouldn't even told him. You should have just been like, oh, man.
I couldn't resist telling him. I wanted to see what his reaction was going to be.
I understand that. I feel like it would have been more fun been like, man, I really want to, but I got other things I got to do that night. But you should call me after you play the gig. I would love to know how it goes. That place is going to be rocking for you, I bet. Only the hardest core fucking go in there. You would not believe it. So what else are we going to talk about? Anything?
I don't know.
We're going to end it on topic of a gay bar in Pittsburgh. People getting pegged. Rich being a butt pirate. Crickets.
No, I don't think that was part of the topic. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's all Gary's fault because he brought up where pirates in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just
yes,
trying to be safe.
historically, there were river pirates in the city. They were that was a problem. They would attack shipping going from Pittsburgh down Ohio to the Mississippi.
And so somebody decided, you know what? Let's name our baseball team after these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And then they named the Erie Seawolves the Erie Seawolves, which is another fancy name for pirate.
What the hell's the soccer team?
Who
Where
cares?
nobody
It's not a
cares.
real
It's fucking
sport.
Pittsburgh's
soccer.
got a soccer team.
Who does?
Pittsburgh. The stadium, the soccer
Yeah, nobody
stadium is
cares about
where
that.
the Icy Light Amphitheater and tent used to be on the south
And
side.
nobody cares about that.
No, they got some goofy name too, River Wolves or some shit.
We play real football here in America.
Yeah. Rich doesn't care about that. He hates America, hates fireworks.
I don't watch soccer. I didn't give a rat's ass about the World Cup. Is that even still going on? I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the quarterfinals now.
That's it.
Yeah, two more rounds to
My
go.
life.
3 games.
Yeah, it takes forever. I remember when they had it when I was working at Greyhound.
Although, like, if they could have done that, like in Erie, that'd have been kind of cool. Like, it would have been kind of cool to meet a nice Irish girl that was just here to watch World Cup and be like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And she'd be like, "Oh, good." Blah blah blah. I'd be like, "Great, you have no soul. I like you."
God, that cat annoys the fuck out of me.
Oh, speaking of cats, found it really convenient in this article where it said "Shut up, cat."
Yeah. I was right in the middle of reading these starts. I was like, shut up, cat.
It's like they knew when they were writing this.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be somebody who's going to have a cat that doesn't know how to shut up, and they're going to yell at them as we're writing this. So let's put it in the script.
So your counter says you have 23 watching, or is that 23 over the duration of the show?
Counter where? I'm only seeing it say 5.
Mine up top. So it says 1 on Rumble and 6 on YouTube currently. And it says total 23.
Oh, yeah, I see that now. Yeah, if it's counting X,
But
which it's not supposed to, because there's nothing on X, but I still haven't figured out because
see, that's
that
weird.
works.
Because in the studio here, it says total 6. And
But,
you got the 1 on Rumble, 5 on YouTube.
It's saying 17 on X, so the math would add up if they were counting X, but it's not counting. It's
On my end, it's not even showing anything for X.
Yeah, I know. So I'm saying the total 23. If you take there's 17 watching on X. If you take the 5 and the 1, and add that to the 17, that's 23.
Yeah. Weird.
Uh-huh.
But then where it shows us, it just says 6.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is why Rumble sucks. You don't have to worry about multiple counters with StreamYard. It's just the one, and it's accurate all the time, every time.
I don't think it's not accurate with its X because it's not supposed to count X, but it looks like it is anyway. Because X isn't supposed to be integrated all the way to where the counters will work. I don't know. But it sure seems like it is, at least for the total in the studio itself.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. It used to. Before they switched to the beta studio, to this version of the studio, X was working, the X counter. Then it stopped working again. I like this version of the studio better anyway.
I don't. It sucks. It doesn't let me enter on mobile.
I don't think I've been able to enter on mobile either.
Yeah,
I
see?
think it's something about mobile.
It's bullshit. And it's like, download this. Okay, I already have it downloaded. I'll uninstall it and reinstall it, I guess. Even do that. Nope. Then you click something else and it's like, oh, there's this other Rumble app. Why the fuck do you have two apps? That's dumb. But even then, you download the other fucking Rumble app. Does it work? Nope.
No, one's for Rumble itself and the other one's for the studio. They're two different programs.
Fuck. Night Strike had the dungeon, and you can get into that for friggin' desktop or mobile. No problem. Did I ruin it again? What?
I don't know.
Gary.
Still.
Yo.
What?
Yo.
What do you have on tap for tomorrow, Gary? You doing a bracket? Rich, are you doing a bracket?
No, I'm not doing a bracket.
I haven't done a bracket in ages.
You should say Aegis.
Yeah, if that page that we use to create brackets, I assume a lot of us are using the same website. If it would allow you to save the things, that would be so much
Oh my
nicer.
god, it would. Like, make me pay $10 a year even to make an account, and I could just make brackets and save them.
Oh, I can see the stream on my phone, but I can't enter. What the fuck?
See? I think it's just you, barbecue. Blah, 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 blah. No. Much like Rich, Rumble hates America.
Mm-hmm.
Who owns Rumble anyway?
Rumble.
Israel and Egypt. Notice that, like, Rumble didn't pick up a lot of steam until after the Charlie Kirk thing happened. And then magically, Rumble got really popular because people could go here and just say whatever they wanted. But that's why, it was Israel and Egypt, because they're the ones that own this together. They kind of adopted it.
Rumble is owned by the public company Rumble Inc., which is controlled by Canadian tech entrepreneur Chris Pavlovski.
Mm-hmm.
Time out. Wasn't the duck at one time Canadian?
Mm-hmm.
It was at one time. It's
Yeah, at one
French
time.
now, or Italian. I can't remember which.
French.
Same thing.
This is like, the duck was owned by the good Canadians. This is owned by the friggin' Frenchy Quebec Canadians.
No, the duck was owned by the French Canadians.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Lies.
Nope.
Nope. You're wrong.
Nope. It
Wrong.
was owned by the Frenchies.
You're wrong.
Guides or whatever is a clear French name.
You're wrong.
There was a gauge, like rhyme with beige.
Gauge.
I know you like the gays.
Gauge.
But still wrong.
To be fair, his last name was Vandentop or something like that, so I believe it's a Dutch name, to be fair.
See? Told you you're wrong, Rich. Gary does genealogy. He would know. He knows all the last names.
And the Dutch, they don't really know where they're from anyway.
Nope.
So.
No. I could say something, but I'll be nice.
You're wrong.
Yeah, you don't want to get yourself in Dutch.
Well, this is about somebody we know. That'll be nice.
About
Me?
barbecue? Oh.
No.
Oh.
I don't want to pick on anybody.
You should do it.
Oh, I'll pick on Night Strike. He ain't watching this shit anyway.
Oh, you guys missed a reference. That was giving you guys a hint.
He's really shitty at giving hints.
He is.
No,
Glad we're
again,
not playing
I
charades.
don't want to.
Jeez.
I don't want to pick on anybody.
We be playing charades. Rich is holding up 3 fucking fingers, trying to tell me that it's 3 words. I'm
You
like,
two
I can't
can't figure
fucking
this
see
out.
your fingers.
Pick? Are we
Pick
talking
on
about
somebody.
Caitlin Clark now or what?
No.
Sophie Cunningham?
Jeez, am I going to have to put it in the private chat?
No, just say it. Stop being a little
No.
bitch.
No, you
Fucking
guys got to
strap a
figure it
set
out.
on.
Sophie Cunningham
I don't
was
even know
one of the girls that went on the stage with the round numbers during the McGregor fight. She did a cameo.
Nice. Still don't know who the hell
She looks
is.
good. She looks good in a swimsuit.
But what the hell is the hint? Just tell us the hint again.
I don't want to pick on somebody.
That's the hint?
That's the hint.
Did that help you at all, Gary?
Stop
Nope.
and think. Stop and think. You should be able to figure this out. I am going to have to put this in the private chat.
I don't even know where the fuck the private chat is. Son of
I
a...
don't either, to be honest.
It's the chat that has what looks like a lock on it on the right-hand side of the screen.
Oh,
Gary saw the
okay.
private chat. He gets it now.
I get it now. Yeah.
Well, I guess we would need reference into how he doesn't want to pick on anybody. Like, why did that come up in the first place?
Because that would have been the reference with the Dutch. Because of something somebody said on
He's
another chat
Dutch?
recently.
Oh, Billy's Dutch?
No, don't you? No, he said the Pilgrims were Dutch. A couple weeks ago on Gary's show.
Oh, I don't remember that.
That's so gonna get back to him now.
I don't care.
If anybody's actually watching this shit.
I don't think there is.
Still says there's 5 on YouTube and 1 on Rumble and 23 total.
Did you hear Rich's butthole just slammed shut when I did that? Like, oh, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be secret. That's why I put it in the...
I'm sitting here
didn't
like,
care.
oh no, he didn't.
I was hoping one of you would have figured it out without me having to put it in the private chat.
I'm a special kind of asshole.
I figured one of you would say something after I did it. That's why I brought it up in the first place.
That was fun. I haven't gotten to do anything like that to anybody in a while.
If you want to keep a secret, the person who tells probably not Guns and Barbecue.
That just depends on what it is. I'm actually really, really, really good at keeping secrets. That being said, every once in a while, there's something that you'd be like, you got to swear you're not going to tell anybody. And I'll be like, oh, yeah, I got you. First fucking opportunity, I'm going to do that because, like, there's really no point in having that secret. Now, if you're like, hey, I murdered somebody, I'd probably be like, who? Okay, I'll take that to the grave. I also might be like, who? I'd be like, oh, I liked that person. I'll take that to the grave after I tell the police.
Mm-hmm. Pack rat's heading out, says he's got to get up. He's exhausted.
Yep.
All right,
See you, Pack Rat.
later,
You
Pack
done
rat.
pissed him off now.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Going to tell Hillbilly right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the Pilgrims weren't Dutch?
No.
No, they're Scandinavian.
Now you're thinking of the Vikings.
Yeah, they were pilgrims.
The Vikings were here before the Pilgrims.
My point.
The Minnesota Vikings?
Did you hear that they found Viking runestones in Minnesota?
They did. Mm-hmm. Did you hear that a guy in New York found a Bigfoot?
Why did he take his shoe off?
No. Apparently, he was in the Adirondacks, and he apparently smelled something really funny. So, like, something dead. So he followed his nose, and there it was, an 8-foot, 300-pound decaying Bigfoot. Apparently, he still has it. The government hasn't come and taken it from him or anything. He sent pieces of it off for DNA testing, and supposedly it came back as a Neanderthal Homo sapien hybrid, which most people would be like, well, yeah, Europeans can have upwards of like 10% of Neanderthal DNA still. Like that could happen. But no, like apparently this has something like 60% Neanderthal DNA, which apparently part of that is actually a mix of what we would consider like the European Neanderthals, but also a Neanderthal that people don't think about, and that was the Neanderthal that roamed through Asia. I was like, "Oh, this is kind of interesting. Sounds like bullshit, but it's interesting nonetheless."
Mm-hmm.
They keep digging into this guy. They're going to find out he sold Geico at one time or another, too.
That, or he's just going to disappear one day, and people are just never going to think anything of it again. I'm sorry, but like going back to conspiracy theories, like all of the inventions over the last 2-3 decades that people are like, oh yeah, this is the perpetual motion device, or this can make a car run on water, or this is like a generator for your home and will actually generate enough power to actually power an entire city block just by putting this thing on your roof in a windy area. And all of those things never see the light of day. And like a lot of them I've seen on like national news when I was growing up. And they're like, this is amazing. And then nothing after that.
Yeah. When I was in high school, I think it was 10th grade, we went on a guided tour to Carnegie Museum.
So anyways, Gary, this one time I went on a guided tour to...
Hey, click that. Okay, this goes into your 10% Neanderthal DNA thing. We went on a tour to Carnegie Museum. We were going through the natural museum part, and we came to the where the Neanderthal exhibit was. And the guy who was giving us a tour was a paleontologist and biologist, and he told us his theory about Down syndrome, that that his theory is that it's partially caused by the 10% Neanderthal DNA that, and that it's showing up in people with Down syndrome. It's expressing itself.
It's interesting, except I'd expect to see Down syndrome people a lot more barrel chested if that was happening, not with triangle necks.
He didn't say it was coming out completely. He said it's partially expressing itself and that's what's causing Down syndrome. This was his theory. He was in the process of writing a paper on it at the time. I don't know if he ever did, but
This
yeah,
would be a very easy thing to
that was his
solve.
theory.
It would just be a matter of blood testing people with Downs. Which, before we go any further, I like to say people with Down syndrome are fucking amazing. Like the happiest people in the world.
Yeah.
So if anybody's like, "Oh, you're being," no.
No.
They're fucking incredible people.
Yes, I used
You
to
give them a
work with
fucking
them.
grilled cheese sandwich, and you make their fucking day.
I
You go out and you see what they're doing for work. They're pushing fucking shopping carts or bagging your groceries, and they don't have a fucking problem in the world. They're so fucking happy all the time. I shouldn't say all the time. Like my mother has worked with people with developmental disabilities, things like that, for a very long time. And no, not me, assholes, fuck off. But with that, I have been around a lot of Down syndrome individuals. So Tard strength is a real thing as well. If they get upset, it's pretty fucking amazing. Like if somebody said, "Do you bet on the orangutan or the Down syndrome guy?" I don't know where to put my money at that point. And that might sound mean also, but I'm just stating facts.
Yeah, but the church that we used to go to, they had ministries that teenagers would participate in, and I got picked to work with the Down syndrome group that went to the church because we had so I rode the van with the driver to go pick the Down syndrome people up that were members of the church and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, they were some of the nicest people and funny. They could be funny as hell and self-depreciating. They will tell retarded people jokes like like it's the latest thing you've ever heard, and they are funny as hell because when they're
It's their
doing it.
accent.
It's like,
Is there
should I
anybody
be
else you
laughing?
can offend before we get done here?
No. But seriously, they are self-depreciating like you wouldn't believe. They will tell jokes about themselves, and it's hilarious. It's like, I don't know if I should laugh at this or not, but it's just so funny you can't help yourself, and they're laughing their butts off as they're on the bus as they're telling these jokes to each other.
I will say that's the higher functioning ones, though.
Well, to be fair, the best Polish joke I ever heard was from a Polish guy. So,
Makes sense.
in fact, I went into his office one time and he had on this bookshelf, he had this wooden dowel that was set on a platform, about a 3/4 inch wooden dowel, and it had a hole drilled in the top of it. And in this hole was a padlock that was locked. And so I asked him one time, I said, "What is that?" And he looked at me and said, "It's a pole lock."
It's so great. That's, oh my God, that's awesome. Let's say, all right, so now we've offended the Israelis, the Egyptians, the Irish,
Hillbilly up, whatever category he falls into.
hillbilly,
Down syndrome.
Down syndrome persons.
Although they're probably laughing their asses off watching
Neanderthals, both European and Asian Neanderthals, Polacks, Warsaw Patriot just naturally takes offense to all that. We are on a friggin' roll tonight, folks.
But we haven't gotten a copyright claim yet.
You offended Night Strike. Don't forget Night Strike.
For those of you who are wondering,
I was
100% right last week about what band was going to file a copyright claim. Kiss filed a copyright claim.
Happens.
Yep.
Want another one?
Now, the one that the short that had Redbone playing in it, for some reason that is blocked in Russia. because of that song specifically. It said. So I don't know. Is that song banned in Russia or some shit?
I don't know.
Now you
Yo,
can
it's
think that
VIP.
Native American.
Let's kick it. Ice, ice, baby.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but "Come and Get Your Love" is apparently blocked in Russia, I guess.
So we can sing anything we want to, but if we start singing, I want to rock and roll all night and party every day,
We
we'll
might
get you
get
in
a
trouble.
copyright claim.
I wanna rock and roll all
All
night.
night.
Cause Rich is really gay.
Shout it out loud.
Rich likes to go to Pegasus.
I've never actually been in there.
Yeah, he just watches who comes out.
No, we're walking past.
He's like, there's one.
It's on Liberty Avenue, right? If you
Of
got to
course
go on.
it is.
So yeah, honestly, it's on Liberty Avenue. But millions of people walk past this place on a weekly basis. So it's one of those places you can't, if you're going downtown to go and you're
Probably
going
some
to,
of them out on the street corner outside there too. Let's be real.
yeah, but
Which is
you're going to walk past it. It's inevitable at some point. You're going to walk past it during the course of a week if you have to go downtown for anything
playing with my
because of where it's
Civivi nanner.
located.
Or not
Hey,
Civivi.
sailor.
Other way I'm playing with my nanner.
Me and my brother were walking past there one time, and one guy, I think it was a guy, said, "Hey, sexy," to him. I thought my brother was going to fucking kill him. I had to grab him and like, "Come on, let's go."
Your brother wasn't going to kill him. He was going to peg him.
He's going to kill him until he found out he was cute.
Ow, fuck. All right. With my nanner, I got myself with the tip of it. It's very pointy.
My brother did not like the gays. Let's put it that way.
No, he
Okay,
loved
now
it.
we've offended gays too. Cool.
We had done that already, Gary.
No, I thought we were very complimentary of him, actually. Also, River Pirates, Pirates, and Sea Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
We need to add to that list.
And soccer players.
They don't
but
count.
Who cares about them? Who else? Who we got left?
You haven't said a thing about Muslims tonight. Jeez.
Well, we've been too busy with everybody else. So.
Yes, we did. Basically called them terrorists earlier.
But yeah, everybody needs to go out after the show and buy a CJRB nanner.
That the one that's supposed to look like a banana.
Yep. I really like this knife. It's not the most comfortable thing in the hand, though. They just made the angles a little too sharp. It could have been a slightly more ergonomic. It can still resemble a banana, I think.
I don't know if Rich likes things that are banana shaped. His brother definitely doesn't.
So, Rich, flank steak or tube steak?
I'm scared to answer this question.
Why?
Because it's
Just an
you.
it's just an either or. I mean, you got to have a preference one way or the other.
Okay, just to see where this goes, I'll say flank steak.
Oh, okay. Have you ever had tube steak?
No.
Would you try it if somebody put it in front of you?
Considering the source and the fact that I know what it's also a euphemism for, no.
Well, we're going with the euphemism. Don't you worry. Remember when I got New York Outcast with that?
Oh, he fell for it hook, line, and sinker, man. It was
kind of.
great.
He fell for it so hard. I felt a little bad.
Yeah,
Because
I'd try
once
it.
he realized it, he's like, "Oh, this is a joke." He's like, "Yeah.
When
Tube
you were
steak
talking
is
about
actually penis."
the guy who found the Bigfoot in New York, at first I thought you were talking about Rob. Remember when him and his woman were at on their ATV excursion, and we were giving him grief because he said he saw a Bigfoot.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We've lost 3 on YouTube, or we've lost 2 on YouTube. Down to 3 on YouTube. Guess we still got 17 or so. Because it's still saying 21 in the comment. Wow.
Wow.
Usually, as the show goes on, I get more people watching on X.
Huh.
I don't know why that is.
That's where all the weirdos are. If you're a weirdo, please do follow Rich White on X. Follow Unloaded Media, definitely.
If you love Muslims, follow Rich White on X.
I don't have an account under my name on X. It's Unloaded Media.
Whatever.
Well, I'm sure things I post on there will make the Muslims really happy.
How many death threats do you get a day?
Not as many as you would think.
Probably got
There's not enough
messaging
people
turned off.
following Unloaded Media. What, Gary?
Back when it was Twitter, I got an email from Twitter saying that they denied Pakistan's request for my personal information.
I said he probably has messaging turned off on X so people can't send him messages.
No. I tend to ignore it if it's not somebody I know anyway.
We try to ignore you, but here we are.
Now, if you want explicit content, you need to go to his OnlyFans page.
I don't have an OnlyFans. Remember when YouTube started cracking down on gun channels really bad, and some of them started putting up channels on Pornhub?
Nope.
Like,
You did?
different gun channels when
Rich put his under the gay porn section.
no, but channels like Forgotten Weapons and In-Range TV and a couple others created channels on Pornhub, and then they got banned when Pornhub figured out what they are. Pornhub's like, no, we don't want your channels here.
We'll allow everything else, but not this.
You don't get no titties bouncing, so no, you can't be here.
Way to try and cover up there, Rich. Good job.
I bet you if you look hard enough on Pornhub, you'll find like naked women shooting guns or something.
That's almost worth giving my phone or computer an STD, but no. If people are like, give your phone or a computer, yeah, that's called a virus, like Trojan horse or something like that. No.
Any complaints about this show? Be sure and email unloadedmedia@gmail.com, by the way.
I'll just get a mail Damon saying couldn't be delivered.
Sorry, I'll go get his email right now. Hold on, folks.
Send it to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com. Does Yankee still have that email address?
Mm-hmm.
Or did he close it up because of all the...
He never checks his email. Like, he tells the people that are watching, like, if you email me, unless I am looking immediately at my computer... All right, here we go.
They got the channel. The channel email is on the screen, so that big a deal. Anyway, we're coming up on 2.5 hours. I think we're going to start wrapping this up. So, Gizzard, anything you want to plug?
I'll do a slightly less offensive show tomorrow night on my YouTube channel, gizzardgary.com. Foul Territory, 9 o'clock p.m. Central. A lot of these same characters will be on there, but I'll make them mind their P's and Q's. So hopefully we'll see you there, and thanks for having me.
Yep.
And I love the Dutch personally. And people with Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I have relatives that have Down syndrome. So there. Ridge.
All right. Barbecue, what about you? Barbecue.
What?
Got anything you want to plug?
I do, but she's about a half hour away, and that's not going to happen tonight.
Other than that, you doing a show this week?
Oh, show-wise, my bad. Hopefully. That's the plan. For anybody that we offended tonight, I do apologize. You should be aware of what you're getting into when you tune into Unloaded Media. Gary and I don't get to be like this. However, we get drugged down by Rich being a Neanderthal and just a disgusting human being and hating America.
Uh-huh.
So with that, we'd like to remind you that Gary and I do love America, and we love you, and we're sorry that you had to be put through this. Our apologies to anybody that may have been offended, especially Hillbilly. We don't think that you're Dutch, just Rich.
I didn't say he was Dutch. But I know what your bracket can be. People that were offended on tonight's episode.
Fuck.
All right. With that out of the way.
Looking for a 32 slaughter, huh?
I don't think we did that many.
Close enough.
We're going to bid everybody a good night.
Good night!
Yes. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night on Gizzard Gary Show. Until then, have a safe week and a good night, and we will catch you all later.
There will be less sodomy and less debauchery tomorrow night.
Hopefully. You never know.
Shut up, be infringed!
Better warn people.
I'm just gonna talk to this whole outro now. You know why? I love America. Like fireworks being set off next to Ford Maverick. Did he fucking mute me? Nope. Okay, good. I was like, what the fuck? I just heard this weird sound. So anyways, I love America.